What if I told you that the people whose entire job is to beat the stock market, people with Ivy League degrees, billion-dollar research budgets, and decades of experience, fail to do it more than 90% of the time? And what if I told you that a simple, boring index fund that requires zero skill and almost zero effort consistently outperforms them? That's not a theory. That's not an opinion. That is the documented, peer-reviewed, undeniable reality of the investment industry, and the financial world does not want you to know it. In this video I'm going to show you exactly what the data says about index funds versus actively managed funds, why the difference is so dramatic, and what this means for your money starting today. Let's get into it. First, let's make sure we understand what we're comparing. An index fund is a fund that simply tracks a market index, like the S&P 500. It doesn't try to pick winners. It doesn't try to time the market. It owns everything in the index, automatically, and charges almost nothing for doing so. An actively managed fund is completely different. It has a team of professional fund managers, highly educated, extremely well paid, whose entire job is to research companies and pick the ones they believe will outperform the market. They charge significantly more for this service, typically 1% to 2% per year in fees. The implicit promise of an actively managed fund is simple. We are smart enough to beat the market. Pay us more, and we'll make you more. Sounds reasonable. Now let's look at what actually happens. Every year, Standard & Poor's publishes a report called the SPIVA Scorecard, the S&P Indices versus Active Report. It compares the performance of actively managed funds against their benchmark index over time. The results are devastating for active management. Over 1 year, approximately 60% of actively managed funds underperform the S&P 500. Over 5 years, approximately 78% underperform. Over 10 years, approximately 85% underperform. Over 20 years, approximately 95% underperform. Let that sink in. Over a 20-year period, 95 out of 100 professional fund managers, people whose only job is to beat the market, failed to do it. And the ones who did outperform in one period? Research shows they rarely sustain it. Last decade's top performers are frequently this decade's underperformers. So why do actively managed funds keep failing? There are 3 main reasons, and they're all structural. They can't be fixed by hiring smarter managers or doing more research. Reason number 1, fees. This is the biggest killer. An actively managed fund that charges 1.5% per year needs to outperform the market by 1.5% every single year just to break even with an index fund. That's before taxes. That's before trading costs. Just to match a simple index fund, they need to be consistently, significantly better than the entire market, and compounded over decades. The difference is catastrophic. Let me show you the math. You invest $100,000. You choose between 2 funds that both return 8% gross per year before fees. Fund A, Index Fund, 0.03% fee. After 30 years, $928,000. Fund B, Actively Managed, 1.5% fee. After 30 years, $608,000. Same gross return, same time period. The only difference is the fee. The fee costs you $320,000. $320,000. Gone. Not to market risk, not to bad luck, to fees. Reason number 2, the market is hard to beat because the market is the professionals. Think about who is on the other side of every stock trade. It's not confused retirees randomly clicking buttons. It's hedge funds, pension funds, institutional investors, the most sophisticated players in the world, all with the same information, all competing against each other. When one professional fund manager buys a stock because they think it's undervalued, they're buying it from another professional who thinks it's fairly valued or overvalued. They can't both be right. In a market dominated by professionals, consistently outsmarting the collective intelligence of millions of expert investors is almost impossible, and the data confirms it. Reason number 3, behavior. Actively managed funds don't just sit still. They trade, constantly. Every trade has a cost. Every trade has tax implications. The average actively managed fund turns over 80% of its portfolio every year. That's 80% of holdings being sold and replaced. Index funds? They barely trade at all. They just hold everything and rebalance occasionally. Turnover rates of 3 to 5%. So what should you do with this information? The answer is simple. Stop trying to find the magical fund manager who can beat the market. The data tells us they almost certainly can't, at least not consistently, and not after fees. Instead, own the entire market through a low-cost index fund, VOO, VTI, FXAIX. Buy every month. Reinvest dividends. Don't touch it. You don't need to be smarter than Wall Street. You just need to stop paying Wall Street to lose to itself. Here's the bottom line. The boring choice is the smart choice. If this video changed how you think about investing, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe for a new video every week where we cut through the noise and show you what the data actually says. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to legally pay zero taxes on your investment gains. It's one of the most powerful wealth building strategies available, and almost nobody uses it. See you there.